In Stockholm, Sweden, the latest pod news. BuzzFeed has cut their podcasting team to focus on video, the Wall Street Journal reports. As a result of the changes, most of BuzzFeed's podcasts would be shutting down, the article says. And the cuts do only affect a handful of BuzzFeed employees. And last week, Panoply shut its content division. Earlier, Audible did similar. The Mooch is making his way into podcasting. Deirdre and Anthony Scaramucci are producing a podcast, Mooch and the Misses, which will be exclusively available on Entercom's radio.com platform. The Latin Podcast Awards have announced their nominations for this year's awards. Pacific Content's Steve Pratt discusses ways to make podcasts shareable on social media. He says, don't share the podcasts. Australian TV news channel Sky News Australia has signed a deal with Acast and Nova Entertainment for ad representation in the country. Dirty John was reported to be made into a TV show in March. You can now watch the teasers for the upcoming show on Bravo. Digiday highlights why podcast companies are getting more into scripted shows. It's worth remembering, says the article, that scripted shows may attract the headlines and the Hollywood producers, but non-scripted still accounts for most of the podcasting universe. There's a new podcasting studio in Richmond, Virginia in the US. Red Amp was founded in part because comedian John Cleese, who used to be funny, wanted somewhere to record. iHeartRadio Australia is celebrating its 5th birthday. It claims Australia's largest podcast library. The brand is run by ARN in Australia and similarly run by broadcast networks in Canada and New Zealand. And Chorus Radio has snapped up Night Time, a popular Canadian mystery podcast. The show is now on Chorus's Curious Cast platform and will be aired on the company's global news radio stations later in the year. It claims it's the first show to make it from podcast to broadcast.